Mm-hmm.
God, he said he wants to feed the poor.
Mm.
Who heard of such a thing? With government caring for their own. That's radical.
Yes.
Yeah. Wants to house the unhoused. Oh, what's next? New books for school children?
Mm.
Anyway, it's the Power Hour filled with news and sarcasm.
Oh Lord.
Yes, this show drips with sarcasm,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all for a good cause. As we try to enlighten, inform, inspire our listening family each and every morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Sitting across from me to help accomplish that mission is the pride of Boston by way of Mount Airy and DC. Bishop
Yeah.
Dwayne David Royster.
And sitting across from me is the Oakland Raiders' #1 fan, Philly Eagles quasi fan, the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
Go Raiders. Da
Oh,
Raiders.
geez.
Just
Oh,
win,
geez.
baby. Raider Nation. Yeah, I like the way you said that quasi Eagle fan.
Yeah,
I mean, see,
quasi.
we're in a different division. So, I mean, different conference. So it really
Hmm.
doesn't matter what happens. The only time we've ever met when it mattered was the Super Bowl in the 80s, and we finished that. So there's
Hmm.
no need to even have that argument. We settled
So
that.
all I can say is that Oakland is the Philadelphia of the West Coast. That's all it is. It really
That's
is.
right. Yeah, we trash talk and we're not having it, okay? And even if the team plays in Vegas now, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows they're the Oakland Raiders. They consider themselves the Oakland Raiders. That's where the swag is. And Vegas is pretty much like Atlantic City is to Philly and New
Hmm.
York. It's Switzerland. Everyone can kind of claim that. So it's all
It's
good.
neutral territory. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, and holding this all together this morning on the ones and the twos is Kawesa.
Good morning.
What's good?
Salutations.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah, you
Oh.
sound better than yesterday.
It was Monday yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, you were like, oh, it sucks.
Much better today. Much better.
All right, so listen, folks, you can check us out in many multiple formats. We don't have time this morning to tell you all the places, but we would love for you to join us on Facebook Live, where we have always an engaging conversation. I haven't even been there yet. Let me see what's going on over there.
Yeah,
If you
well, we
are
got to
there,
share. Hmm.
yeah, hit the share button and send this out to your friends and families. Be so kind as to do that for us. Like I said, again, it helps get the word out. And again, there's no conversation like our Facebook Live conversation. So if you're there, just hit a little something in the chat. Let us know that you're there. Check in on this morning and let us know that you are in the house. So listen, yesterday, the vaccines started to roll out. And man, first person to get the vaccination was a black woman doctor in New York. And she was like a black doctor. I mean, normally the first is like really, really, really light.
Wow.
Am I lying?
I, I,
Am
I'm
I
not touching
lying?
that. I'm not
Am I
touching that.
lying? First black folk on the news, first black folk working in the post office. They always gotta ease you in. But I looked up and I said, she representing my people.
Hmm.
It's one of my people right there,
Well, I
dark
mean,
brown. It's
she
all good.
she's all of our people, and
I
and
know.
it was she was, I mean, very obvious, and people of color, in particular African Americans, have been hit hardest by this virus. So it just was apropos. A lot of the nurses that are serving, although there are male and female nurses, still the majority of the industry is women. A lot of women of color serve as nurses, and so and they're now serving as doctors. So I think it was apropos, and we are so grateful that she also took that stand and is a model for other folk of color that the vaccine is safe.
Well, listen, I want to just say that that's smart. You want
Yeah.
trusted messengers to get the vaccine. And so in Philadelphia, I think that it would be a huge mistake if they didn't have some big public event
Right.
where Dr. Ayla Stanford and like a Reverend Alan Waller and Dr. Stanford's pastor, our good friend Reverend Marshall Mitchell, who has been, I mean, when the story is really told, he's the one who really kind of helped open up the doors in a lot of churches and got people, because remember, churches were afraid to even open up to let her come and do testing. They were doing it at his church. And so between the two of them and the other black doctors, they've tested thousands of Philadelphians and perhaps saved thousands of lives. But if you really want people in Philly, you need those kind of folk to do it. You need some Sixers. You need some Eagles. You need some of the folk that people look up and really trust to go out and get that vaccine publicly.
Well, I mean, you should go out and get it too. And
I'm going to get mine. I don't care where they give it to me. They get it in private. It can be public. I'm waiting on the call. Hook a brother up. I'll take the vaccine.
I got you. Hey, by the way, you know, your boy down in D.C., right, said that the White House is not going to get theirs right now. They'll wait till later on.
Oh, man. Your boy is a trip, isn't he?
I don't want to take you off. I know you got to flow,
okay.
but I'm just saying.
So
your boy came out. He tweeted that they would wait till later on. They don't really need it right now.
Because he already had the disease. And he's already given it to everybody he knows. He's like, come here. Come here. Take that mask off. Let me tell you something. No, don't worry about particles. I mean, he like literally infected everybody he knows. His wife, his children, his, chief of staff, his right hand this and right hand that. Like literally, this is not even like, typically when you say this kind of stuff on radio, it's hyperbole, right? It's like, dude has infected everybody. It's kind of like, he ain't really infect everybody. No, dude has infected everybody.
Everybody. That's right. It's
everybody. Yeah, and so he's so of course they don't need it now because you have like some limited immunity. We don't believe you can catch it again. It is possible that you can, but certainly not right away. So I mean he's good. Man, that guy is something else. But so speaking of your guy,
it's your dude.
Wait, hold on for real. I cannot believe this.
What's that?
Guess who's on me about the light skin, dark skin stuff that I was speaking of in jest?
Who's that?
Everybody knows it was in jest, right? Because look at me and you. We're team light skin, team dark skin. I talk about that in jest. Of all the people in the world on Facebook Live to criticize me for that is Raphael. Dude, you're Mr. ADOS. You jump on Kamala because she's not quote unquote black. Raphael, over the holidays, you and we need to go grab some coffee, man. I can't believe you.
Yeah, wow. See, that's why I wasn't going to touch that. That's why I wasn't going to touch that.
Everybody knows that. Everyone who listens to the show every day, they know my spirit. You know my heart. Hey, listen, shout out to Bishop Peggy, to Marcia, to Sheriff Rochelle Bilal, Sheriff of Nottingham, to Neo Leo, to Dr. Jackie. That's Dr. Jacqueline Davis, not kiddo, Mr. Epstein. That's doctor. Put some respect on it. To Mabel, and again, to Andre, to all of you. What's up, Kenrick? To all of you this morning. Calinthia, glad to see you as well.
And it says Dr. Dowdy in there. We need to be
Dr.
clear.
Dowdy. I'm sorry, Dr. Dowdy. That's right. Put some, man, I love
has a PhD in urban anthropology from Temple University and has been a professor for many years. She has earned the right to be Dr. Dowdy.
I love my timeline is just because I have like so many like black women friends who, have earned doctorates. And my timeline is just filled with them, with their cap and gown on, the regalia.
Yes.
So put some respect on that. It's not kiddo.
Right. That's right.
What's up? Asa Khalifa's in the house. Gary Butler. Moses is in. Glad to see all of you all. So check this out again. Hit the share button on Facebook Live. Don't be embarrassed. Ed Minner is on, who says this is the fastest hour in radio. So your boy yesterday, the Electoral College went to work. Yes, they did the thing. Not one faithless elector. And so it's done. It's a wrap. Joe Biden is now officially the president-elect, president in waiting. Kamala Harris is the vice president in waiting. Again, I just can't, that is such a huge story. I mean, it really is. And so
There is one more
Just-
step though.
Well, there is, yeah, two more steps, right? So one is it has to be counted on January 6th
Right.
and affirmed by Mike
Joint Sessions
Pence.
Council. Yeah.
Yeah, joint, yeah. And then also, hey, Chief Justice Roberts at the last minute could say, do you, and then look at the camera, Donald J. Trump, swear to still be the president. I mean, so yeah, there's some official steps, but pretty much it's all done. But the shouting, but to celebrate yesterday, man, Donald Trump is something else. He has the ability,
Uh-huh.
unlike any person I know, to make you have empathy for someone that just moments before you had serious loathing for.
Yes.
I
That's
remember
right.
when Jeff Sessions was forced out as Attorney General. I
Uh-huh.
couldn't believe that I was feeling sorry for Jeff Sessions. I was like, why am I feeling sorry for this guy? It's because Trump did him so absolutely wrong that it was like, oh my God, man, you got me sitting up here feeling like weepy for Jeff Sessions. like,
That's
how
terrible.
how awful must you be to make someone feel bad about Jeff Sessions?
Uh-huh.
Likewise, on yesterday, Trump has had no greater supporter in his tenure. He would not have survived the impeachment hearings and the Mueller investigation if not for the man, Attorney General William Barr, who basically soiled his career, soiled himself in front of all. I mean,
That's right.
he took all of his credibility and just flushed it down the toilet to support Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's thanks to him is to push him out of office 30 days early because he acknowledged what everybody else in the world acknowledges, even if they don't say it publicly, that Donald Trump lost the election. I mean, I am sitting here feeling sorry for William Barr, and that makes me really disturbed.
It is really, I mean, all of a sudden, like, Bill Barr's got integrity, right? And it's like, wow.
Right. Like, where was that 2 years ago?
It was all of a sudden you're like, wow, this dude's got some real integrity here, and over everything else that he's done, but like in this moment when he just said, okay, enough is enough, I can't do this anymore, that he finally has, a breaking point, and it's not a breaking point because, it was because Trump came after him that he broke, not because he thinks that anything he said or did was wrong. So it was wild.
I mean, but seriously, dude, think about it. He is that guy
Yes.
where again he treats people so badly
Absolutely.
that I mean it is like a reality show, right? Because a reality show, moves from characters that you hate, and then characters that you empathize with, and then characters that you ridicule, then characters that you pull for, and a lot of times it's the same person. And so like a reality show TV producer, that's how he is moving this thing. Now here's the good thing of all of this. Donald Trump is perhaps the Democrats' biggest secret weapon for the Georgia runoff election on January 5th.
That's right.
Because, and I've said it all along, that my hope is he continues this act, that he does not get his head in the game, and that he stays unfocused and upset and angry and all about himself, because he tweeted out the Sunday night. I missed that. In fact, maybe it was like early in the morning on Monday. He tweeted yesterday that to Brian Kemp into Georgia, the governor of Georgia. Again, he's still in his head, right? He tweeted out something to the effect that if Brian Kemp on Monday doesn't do something to stop these votes from coming, I guess Brian was supposed to go tell Stacey Abrams and crew, don't you write that dang Joe Biden down. But if they didn't stop it, good luck to Loeffler and Perdue. He was like, pretty much you're on your own because I ain't helping.
Wow.
I mean, I'm like, yes, go, Donald, go. Go, Donald, go. Man, help us in Georgia. You are the man. I always knew he'd come home to his Democratic roots.
I mean, here's the thing, though, right? He's going to burn down the house while he's going out the door, right? He's going to take it down with him. He like you said, he's going to set it up so that the Georgian Democratic candidates wind up getting elected because he just doesn't care because he's offended and hurt at this moment. So.
He does not. I mean, dude, he is like, and let me just say this, Republican Party, you deserve all of this. I mean, I don't even have enough, I don't have the words to say how much you deserve this. You deserve to lose the Senate in this fashion. I mean, this is the ultimate expression of poetic justice. If they lose these 2 seats and they got to look to Vice President Kamala Harris to break every Senate tie and to push through the reforms that Democrats have been wanting for so long, every time you need to look in the mirror. In fact, we should send like 50 mirrors to the Senate as gifts. And it's like every time you get pissed off, pick this up and look in it. Look in it, because you created this monster.
That's right.
And you were fine when he trained his sights on us. You were fine when he put this heat on Muslims. You were fine when he put this on undocumented folk from South America. You were fine when he said about black folk who caught hell in Charlottesville, hey, good people on both sides. You were fine when he went after the queer community and the military and other places. You have been fine with his act up until now. So don't go home whining to mama now, crying about how unfair this is. This is your creation. And I'm telling you, this is divine poetic justice, that if you lose the Senate in this fashion, this will be the ultimate of what you reap, what you sow. You have sown this, and we're at 6:20. We got to take a break. Snow is coming tomorrow, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation and perhaps get a phone call or 2 in from you all. Come on, new callers. Don't just sit there and listen. We'd love to hear a new voice or 2 today. We'll be right back. It's the Power Hour.
Did you know you can catch the flu and COVID-19 at the same time, or even back-to-back? Don't risk catching the flu during the COVID-19 pandemic. The flu shot is a safe and effective way of reducing your chances of catching the flu or spreading it to others. And the flu shot helps protect you and your community from the worst effects of the flu. Don't say, I should have got my flu shot. Call your doctor or visit your pharmacist and get your flu shot today.
With Internet Essentials from Comcast for only $9.95 a month, you get more. High-speed home internet service included. Peace of mind with X-Fi Advanced Security included. Access to millions of X-Fi Wi-Fi hotspots, that's included too. Internet Essentials from Comcast brings you affordable, high-speed internet to your home for only $9.95 a month. When you're connected, you're ready for anything. Visit InternetEssentials.com for more information. Taxes extra. Restrictions apply.
This message is from the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. COVID-19 is still a threat in our communities, but we can all do something simple to help stop the spread. It's critically important to wear a mask or face covering whenever you're in public or around others. Yes, even while social distancing. Wearing a mask shows you care for yourself and your community and is essential to slowing the spread of COVID-19. So love yourself, love your neighbors, wear a mask.
Want to buy black for the holidays?
WURD Radio has got you covered. WURD is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Visit wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
Undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
The onWURD Podcast. Check out the onWURD 2020 in Black podcast series. Available now on your favorite podcast app or visit wordradio.com/2020 in black. You can also ask your favorite device to play onWURD 2020 in Black. You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne Royster. We are here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest news happenings around Philadelphia and, of course, our opinions. And, of course, we also want to hear from you as well. You can give us a call in today, 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. We'd love to have a conversation with you about the various issues we're talking about today. And so we want to invite you to call in. I also want to give a shout out to all the folk that are out there on YouTube. I'm actually on YouTube with you right now. And I see Nikio Tim is out there and talking a little bit, but not many folk responding on YouTube. But feel free to check us out on there and give us a shout out on YouTube so we can shout you out, let folk know that you are a part of the Power Hour family and joining us early in the morning to get all your latest news and happenings around the city of Philadelphia and beyond. Before we go, we have to say this one thing. There actually was yesterday a defection from the Republican Party. And there was a congressman who resigned from the Republican Party yesterday. I'm trying to look up his name. I had
What
it.
state was he from?
I believe he was either from Michigan or Wisconsin, who actually resigned. Here it is. Representative Paul Mitchell is disaffiliating from the GOP because he can't admit he's lost. He can't admit Trump lost. He's a Republican lawmaker from Michigan. A congressman from Michigan has said, that's it, I'm done. I have left the Republican Party and disaffiliated. He's not Democrat, but he's probably going to be an independent, but he has left the Republican Party as a result of the antics of Donald Trump.
Yeah,
And the fact that the Republicans won't do anything about it.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what his district looks like. So if he's in one of those districts that was a safe Republican district, because if he did it then, that is even more bold and risky and courageous. But if he's in one that's kind of like moving toward being blue anyway, then, I don't know, bro. Maybe you're just reading the tea leaves, because this happens every year, right? There's always somebody. I remember the Democrat who flipped Republican afterwards in New Jersey. Yeah, it's always somebody out there trying to like get on the good side of the new boss, right? It's like, hey, guys, I'm with you. But that's certainly going to help Nancy Pelosi. I'm sure she's happy. Lois said Barr got just what he deserved from Facebook. And yeah, he did. And yet I still, I swear to you, I feel sorry for him. I really do. And I know that's probably like not a great look, but I don't like seeing people get hurt. And even people that I don't particularly care for their behavior, I just, and I just know this morning he's waking up feeling like, man, I can't believe that I just like threw my entire career away. All of my integrity. I went from being a person that was pretty well respected on both sides as being, a guy called balls and strikes, to somebody who's fixing games. And the thanks I get is getting shoved out the front door. Yeah, so I feel for bro. I feel for him. But I mean, good riddance, but I do feel for him.
I mean, I got to be honest with you, right? I think a lot of these folk that worked in the Trump administration are going to sort of be persona non grata in the D.C. Area community, in terms of the things that they're doing. I think it's just there is, I wouldn't want to work for them. So, maybe they can get something on TV, but, I just think if you don't have enough integrity to stand up to this dude. I mean, maybe those that resigned very quickly and were like, this guy is crazy, I'm out of here. But for the others that stayed the long term now, like Kellyanne Conway, right? What credibility does she have at the moment?
Man, she don't have credibility at home. Her daughter's like, Mom, you are tripping. I mean, poor Kellyanne Conway's daughter. That's what we should all have empathy for, man. Torn between her and George. That is a heck of a life to have as a teenager. And if you follow her on Twitter or Instagram, you'll know this. But let me just say, you're talking about D.C. So, again, D.C. right now is looking at what's going to happen with the Georgia election. Loeffler is defending herself because of a picture that she took, a selfie, with a serious white supremacist. So the campaign is now distancing themselves and disavowing it, saying that, hey, we didn't know who this guy was, which is kind of hard to believe because Georgia is not that big of a state. And this guy is like this dude, he got credentials. He got street cred. He almost beat a black man to death in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
Spent major time in jail. He's been a leader. He was in Charlottesville. He has his own, affiliations. And so this is not like someone who's just kind of a novice out there dipping his toe for the first time into the cool waters of white supremacy. No, bro is like, he got 30 plus years in the game. And so Loeffler takes this smiling selfie with him. And while she's trying to make the case that Raphael Warnock is too radical for Congress, now her campaign is in the last 2 weeks having to defend themselves and distance themselves from a white supremacist. That's not what you want. As a campaign manager, if you're that campaign manager, you didn't sleep last night because you don't need to spend your last 2 weeks defending yourself every time you're in front of black, constituents, trying to get them to come on your side. Now, Raphael says that Georgia's going to be close. Of course it's going to be close. It was close the last time. Joe Biden won it by a few thousand votes when you get down to it, right. But he won. And he won it when the Republicans were unified and Trump was at the top of the ticket. Trump is not at the top of the ticket. Democrats in Georgia are emboldened. They have won for the first time in the presidential since Jimmy Carter. I see the advantage going toward them if they can continue to push for turnout. I think, again, Trump is their best weapon, and that is going to have a major impact on Washington, D.C., and what happens over the next 2 years until we get to the next election.
So
what do you see coming? Yeah, what do you see?
I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a squeaker down in Georgia. I got to be honest with you. And I think it's 50-50, to be quite frank with you. Right. It all depends if the Republicans are able to distance themselves from Trump and get their base turned out at this moment. And that will be up to Kemp and the other Republican leadership down there to really turn it on. I mean, their big dude is not coming down there to do anything at this point. So I don't know, what the expectation is. I can't even believe that he would say to them, to go to the Democratic electors and tell them not to vote, otherwise he won't show up. That would be more of a reason to show up and vote as a Democratic elector. Be like, yeah, he's not coming. Okay, cool. Let me go. I'm going to get to the Capitol early.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a squeaker, but, I don't know. But let me ask you a question, though. So you were down there for the Black Voters Matter rally this past week, and you were in Albany, I believe. I mean, what are you hearing on the ground down there? What are you seeing when you're down there?
Listen, this is what I'm telling you. I've been down there for the last 3 weeks, and, I'm trying my best to help get turnout in Georgia, voter turnout. And I am telling you, in places like Albany, it's Albany, Georgia, not Albany. And I know I say it all the time, Albany, but when I get there, I got to remember, switch up, Albany, Columbus, in, Athens. I mean, when I tell you the energy is at an all-time high for a runoff election, that folk are woke and people know the stakes, and they have felt the impact of hundreds of organizers coming in from both parties, to be quite honest with you, And so, but I have to tell you that the energy on the ground feels, again, to be much more in the favor of Warnock and Ossoff. And what I saw a lot of are yard signs that had both names. Whereas when I saw yard signs for Republicans, I saw both names, but there were other times where you saw Perdue or you just saw Loeffler. But you are seeing almost in tandem, Warnock Ossoff. It's the same, it's like the same words, the same name, especially with black voters. So there is a real desire to take advantage of this moment. People, fraternities, sororities, HBCU alum, everybody and their mother is working and pushing out the vote, and they're not content with Atlanta only. I mean, they have serious local organizing happening in these smaller towns, even down in Valdosta and Waycross and Tifton. I mean, there is a ton of activity. So I think, like I said again, Trump is the Democrats' best weapon right now. His depressing the vote and making white people there and GOP folk doubt that the election even matters, that it's all rigged anyway. That is not what you want to tell your voters, but that's what he's saying. So I don't know, man. I think this is, as you said, it's going to be close. It's going to be a squeaker, a nail biter. But if you ask me right now where to put your money, I say put it on the Democrats in a close election, that they win this.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is probably right with the energy that's coming out of the Democratic Party right now. And, it'd be amazing to think that Pennsylvania delivered the presidency and then Georgia delivered the Senate, right?
Oh, gosh.
That
Man.
would be powerful. That would be very powerful. So
You're preaching now. You're preaching now.
Yeah. So, but it would be great to think that a southern state delivered the Senate to the Democrats.
And sent a black Southerner from
That's
Georgia.
Right. A black Southerner.
Raphael
who serves at Dr. King's church, right?
And as Cornel West would say, Raphael is from Gut Bucket, Georgia. Whatever that means. Every time I hear him say that, I'm like, Cornel, what does that mean? But yeah, Raphael is not from Atlanta. He's from a very small town in Georgia, and worked his way through Morehouse and really created an incredible ministry overseeing that historic legacy of Ebenezer Baptist Church. Yeah, this is really something. And so, and I want to go back to DC for a moment, because they're not only looking at the Senate election, but people in DC are also paying attention to what happened over the weekend with the Proud Boys rally, right?
Yeah.
And the larger impact of what the Trump presidency is leaving behind. Can the Republican Party withstand this new challenge now that Trump is going to be off the scene? It doesn't seem like the energy that has kind of felt at home now with Trump is going to go away. We talked a bit about the Proud Boys yesterday defacing two black churches, Metropolitan AME and Asbury UMC, and how dangerous that is, because again, you first attack inanimate objects, then you go for the buildings, and then you go for the people in the buildings. That's generally how things progress. Right. So that's very dangerous. But signs have emerged as well that were taken from pictures. And one of them that was the most disturbing said, there was a sign held by a protester that said yesterday, over the weekend in DC at the Proud Boy rally, that blacks and Indians were coming for you first.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the anti-blackness sentiment that exists in this country and has existed for a very long time, and certainly the mass genocide that occurred for indigenous folk in this country so many decades ago, and it continues to perpetuate itself by the policies and the way that we treat indigenous people in this country. That makes total sense. So, I'm not surprised by that, right? I can't imagine that they would do anything differently.
Well, they're coming for blacks and quote unquote Indians. But it looks like Cleveland got to us first, because
that's right.
They took the name Indians off. So apparently
I wonder if they did that. I wonder if they did that though, because it was announced yesterday, and this came out over the weekend. So I wonder if they just finally are like, okay, yeah, this is not good. We got to get rid of this name.
Oh man, I tell you, it's just you can't keep up with this stuff. But yeah, so the impact of a Trump presidency is going to be felt, especially in the Republican Party and in conservative circles, for years to come. People continue to talk about, will this cause a realignment? Will this force other people? So the guy you're talking about, could he be the first of many, right? A lot of Republicans that I know, who, again, I vehemently disagree with about policy and things like that, but I think are pretty decent people, and we can have those arguments and go back and forth. They are deeply uncomfortable being Republican now because they feel like it associates them with being a racist, right. i.e., blacks and Indians, we're coming at you first, ban homo marriage, and all the other kind of hateful signs that were there at that protest, going after black churches. They don't know what to do with that. And so I don't know what happens. Speaking of that, so Eric is from West Philly. He's on the line. He actually wants to talk about what you lifted up, Democrats and Republicans switching parties. Eric from West Philly, good morning. Welcome to the Power Hour.
Hey, good morning, fellas. I just got a quick question about the down ballot elections. I voted by mail in both the primary and the general. I'm figuring, how did the Democrats agree to allow the Republicans to get rid of the down ballot straight Democrat ticket? Now, I did it by mail, so I know they probably. I didn't go to the polls, so I'm not sure if they took it off the polls too, or just the mail-in ballot. That's the question.
No, it was actually off of everything. And it was a deal cut when they created Act 77, which is the law that was passed a couple of years ago that changed voting laws in the state of Pennsylvania. Part of the negotiation, you have to remember that the Pennsylvania House and Pennsylvania Senate are controlled by Republicans. It was an intentional decision on the part of the Republican leadership because of the very thing that they were afraid of happening here in Pennsylvania. Republicans that were sick of Donald Trump, but the local Republican leadership was still okay. And actually, the local Republican leadership actually gained seats in both the House and the Senate, even though Donald Trump lost the state. So it was a decision for them to make sure that people couldn't just pick the straight Republican ticket, or be afraid that people would actually just go pick Democrat instead of picking Republicans, and many of them would lose their seats. So that's why that piece is gone. They agreed to get rid of that so that many of them could save their seats as state representatives and state senators.
See, glad you called, Eric. Between the two of us, somebody's going to have the answer. I'm glad that you asked Bishop Dwayne, because I didn't know. I mean, I knew generally, but I had no idea that level of detail. So that's why we're the Power Hour. Hey, PK called just to say that he's listening and to say good morning right back at you. And Rich in South Philly wanted to know if Barr had to sign a confidentiality agreement before he left office. My guess is he was forced to sign that before he came in. And because, Trump loves NDAs, and was probably forced to sign a loyalty oath, which he broke when he didn't agree that Trump had won the election. By the way, if you have not seen the Saturday Night Live sketch about Newsmax and the New York Jets and Trump's denial about this election, oh, my Lord, you are missing something that's going to bless your spirit. It is absolutely hilarious, but so very true. Look, we got to take a quick commercial break, and we come back for the last segment. We'll continue this conversation. It is the Power Hour.
Man, this coronavirus has us all moving differently.
No doubt. Like washing our hands more and social distancing with the crew. I'm always telling people to give me 6 feet. We're here, Grandmom.
There's my babies. Good to see you got your mask on.
Wear a mask. Stop the spread. For more information, visit www.pa.gov/COVID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The WURD Radio Newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio. Messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Exclusive articles and multimedia content and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter. As a business owner, hiring and developing people from the community that your company serves is one of the best ways to show commitment to that community. Let WURD Radio help with Livelihood, our new initiative that connects Philadelphians with companies like yours. We'll feature your business, open employment opportunities, and resources to connect your company with talent and ensure that you reach your target demographic. To learn more about how Livelihood can help you build your team, visit wordworks.com. That's WURD Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report's sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. 95 southbound building, Copman down through Bridge through the construction. Again, late Allegheny through Girard, northbound side. Not bad as of yet. Schuylkill Expressway westbound, DeLays University through the Vine Expressway through that work zone. Eastbound 76, you're going to find delays in the area of 202. An accident there being worked on. Further east, no other major problems. Westbound Vine Expressway Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. That is a bit slow. In New Jersey, 55 northbound, Deptford into 42, beginning to build there just a bit. bid this morning. Get personalized loan options, closing costs, and tax estimates all in real time when you need your mortgage to fit your family, and Budget Rocket can when you want the ability to adjust your loan options in real time. Rocket can, Rocket Mortgage. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Sunny skies today, a winter storm tomorrow. Today, mostly sunny, warming into the upper 30s by lunchtime and a high of 40 this afternoon. Increasing clouds tonight, down to 27 tomorrow morning. A dry start tomorrow, but a winter storm, a nor'easter, spreads snow into the area tomorrow afternoon. Sleet and freezing rain also possible Wednesday night, and then snow showers come to an end Thursday morning. Mostly cloudy and cold Thursday, a high of 34 degrees. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley with your most accurate forecast. Count on it.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne Royster. Hey, WURD family, want to buy black for the holidays? We've got you covered. WURD Radio is proud to present our virtual holiday marketplace online. Support local, small, black-owned businesses through the marketplace and purchase your holiday gifts today. Go to wurdradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. All right, y'all, come on, get those gifts in. Get it for Kwanzaa, for Hanukkah, for Christmas. Reach out and let your family and friends know that you care about them, but also support local black businesses at the exact same time. I need to straighten up something I said earlier. I said that Dr. Calinthia Dowdy graduated with a PhD from Temple University. It was wrong. She did her undergrad at Temple. She has a PhD from American University in Washington, D.C. So I just wanted to clarify that publicly since I said that. And thank you, Dr. Dowdy, for listening. Just shout out to the Reverend Michael Kane that is checking us out today as well online. He is now the board chair, co-chair of Power, and so he is listening early this morning. And then Nick O'Tim had a question for you, Rev. Nicky O'Tim on YouTube. He wanted to know, are the folks in the rural areas in Georgia ready to vote? So
yes, I'm telling you. Now, what's also weird is, when I was riding back to Atlanta the other day, so Georgia is it's like Pennsylvania. I mean, you get outside the big cities, there's just like incredible long drives where it's like very country, which I happen to like actually. And so as I'm riding, there were like these signs up for Purdue and Loeffler that people had put in the woods, right, that you could see from the freeway. And they were like literally just like a little strip of wood with their names kind of like painted on them. I mean, like nothing fancy, said Purdue, Loeffler. Like literally, if you didn't know who they were, you wouldn't even know what it meant.
Right.
But it was kind of creepy because I'm like, man, who's out there in the woods putting these signs up, bro? Like, I would not want to run into that person out in the woods. But yeah, no, there is a lot of energy, a lot of buzz, and people absolutely know that the election is coming. There are a lot of billboards up. Again, they're not just yard signs of people's homes, but along highways, along different areas. Albany this week was incredible. We did a nonpartisan get out the vote motorcycle motorcade with about 80 motorcycles, mostly black bikers. Man, that was like deep. And I mean, they're just like, this is the part that just kind of kept making me want to well up in tears the entire time. So yesterday was my mom's 87th birthday. So we had a great Zoom birthday party with her. But my mother grew up in a similar environment in rural Arkansas. And so she was born in 1933. So for most of her life growing up, the right to vote was never a guarantee. Even though she moved to California as a teenager after the Great as a part of the Great Migration with my grandmother, that my grandmother, who I knew very well, my great-grandmother, who's born 1898, that I knew very well, who lived into my adulthood, that these women, they could not vote for the majority of their young lives, right? And that's the story of folk in Georgia. And I'm sitting here thinking man, this is crazy. Here I am riding through Albany on a motorcycle with, 80 other motorcyclists talking about get out to vote. And I had my mask on that says vote on the front. And bro, I'm thinking that literally, if this had been one of my parents and when they were my age doing this could have cost them their lives.
Wow. Wow.
The very act of just going into a place like Albany saying get out and vote could have cost them their life. I take for granted that I could ride down there and go back to Atlanta and nothing's going to happen to me. And that was not, that was a dangerous trek between Atlanta and Albany. Folk went missing on that ride, and not in our long distant past, in the past of our lifetime. I was born in 66. This stuff was still happening in 66. Absolutely. And so honestly, that was the emotion that continued to flood over me the entire time as I thought about it. Stacey Abrams now leading this work in Georgia. The fact that they all voted and put Kamala Harris in the White House as the vice president. So, don't get me started on that, man, because that's just, I don't have enough Kleenex over here.
I got you. Well, listen,
it's powerful.
It is. It absolutely is. Well, listen, I just want to talking about, kind of young folk kind of taking over and saying enough is enough. I don't know if you saw this, but Kristen Graham reported in the Inquirer that the students at Kensington Center for Performing Arts staged a protest the other day because they're sick of Zoom. And they can't take doing Zoom from 8 to 3 anymore, 5 days a week. And so they protested. The students, the high school students at the Kensington Center for Performing Arts just said, we can't do it, and we are tired. We got to get something different going on, that they're depressed. And I want to say this because, I've got a daughter who's a senior in high school, and Joy is down in Montgomery County, Maryland. And I think my wife said the other day that put it best when she said, this is like Groundhog Day for these kids. Every day is the same day. The movie with Bill Murray that came out some years ago. And that a lot of our teens are struggling right now. And I just wanted to be able to say to all of our teens out there, we see you, we understand, hope is coming around the bend, and that eventually we'll be able to get out of this. Please hang on. But understanding your frustration and everything that you're experiencing right now is absolutely normal. And unfortunately, none of us, most of us who have been alive, there are some that are still were around, have not lived through a pandemic like this before. And so I want to encourage that. Now, I'm just curious, though, because actually in my daughter's school district, she goes to public school, they have classes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday is a day to do catch up on assignments, talk to your teachers, things of that nature. And I'm gathering that the Philly school system is just doing classes every day, 8 to 3, which is a lot of screen time. I mean, we always complained about kids with screen time in the first place, but now it looks like we are overloading them with all this screen time as well.
Okay. So I understand it. I do. And like you, I have teenagers as well. And I have 2 young adult children in their 20s. And so all of them are doing their work or school virtually. 2 of them are working and they work virtually. One is in college, she goes to college virtually, and one is in high school. And so, I get it. And, but it's also the times, right? It's because we're in an era where everything, it's a lot more. I mean, we have been inching toward instant gratification. We're guilty of it too. Our generation moved the ball closer to that. And so we were a lot less patient than our parents and grandparents as well. You think about it back in the day, you wanted to cook something, it was going to take you a while. But we are the tip of the spear with microwaves, and so we can literally put food. My mom to this day doesn't trust microwaves. She's like, cancer. I'm like, Mom, seriously? So nope, give me that stove. And so there was a certain kind of patience that it's like I can wait for my food, versus us. And now it's even worse, right? And so the rate of the pace at which people declare I'm bored is, to me, it's sometimes alarming. You know what I mean? Where it's like we've been sitting there for 30 minutes and it's like, oh my God, I'm so bored. I'm like, wait a minute, we just like literally got here. So I think there's an element of that as well. But all of that look, whether we think that that's like being impatient or not, I do know that that does feed into feelings of real anxiety, feelings of depression, you know, that often even lead, you know, young people to hurt themselves. So I just think that there's also something else at work here, and the pandemic is just making it far worse. Yeah, but, you know, thank God for things like Zoom. I mean, we had a Zoom birthday party for my mom and got to see everybody. She's sitting there like, I don't understand any of this technology, but I'm so glad to see all y'all right now.
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Oh, man.
Well, let's just say to our young people, look, we love you. We're praying for you, and we will all get through this together.
Hey, well, can I say this, though? A lot of folk are getting better grades right now, not being distracted with their friends sitting next to them.
Oh, there's a whole lot less drama.
I ain't gonna call no names. I'm not calling no names, but I'm just telling you right now, there are a lot of folk who are getting much better grades because there's not somebody sitting next to them distracting them. I'm just saying.
I hear you. Well, look, thank you, everybody, for joining us here on the Power Hour today. We thank you, Dr. Tyler, for all that you do. We thank you, Sister Coesa, for holding it down on the boards, for all of our callers that called in to check us out today, even those that weren't able to stay on. We deeply appreciate you. All of our friends on Facebook and on YouTube that are watching the show, and every single one of you that shared it out today, we deeply appreciate you. Now, look, stay tuned for Wake Up with Word with Solomon Jones. Listen, go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.
Oh, I got eyes and